Hey everyone, so today I'm going to go through a comparison in depth of the cloud gaming providers. So what we're going to start with is a kind of overview of the platforms, and then I'm going to go through some of the comparison for features. Then I'm also going to go through some of the user experience side and the game startup as well. So this is going to be quite a lengthy video, so I've dropped some links in the description to some key points in the video in case you're only interested in certain bits. Please subscribe to Cloud Gaming Extreme to stay up to date with everything to do with cloud gaming. So, what is cloud gaming? Well, quite simply, it is the ability to play games on a device without having to download and install it first. This is also dependent on what platforms you can play on, but that's the simplest form of cloud gaming. So we're going to look at several of the main contenders here, starting with Stadia. Stadia is Google's entry into the cloud gaming market. In its simplest form, I'm going to call it a cloud console, because like a console, it requires games to be ported to it. It is its own platform in its entirety, so you can't bring games from other platforms. So moving on to GeForce Now. GeForce Now is like renting a powerful virtual PC for a specific game. So each game kind of runs inside of its own environment, but we have kind of native applications to do that. It means that we get some very powerful machines to hand. Then we have Shadow PC. Shadow PC is a full virtual PC that has been optimized for gaming and differs from normal cloud PCs or virtual PCs because it has high resolution graphics and a very good codec to get those graphics to you. So these are the three main that I'm going to be looking at through this comparison. I'll also give a mention to xCloud and also Nware. These are some other streaming platforms which are making way. They are both in kind of closed beta, so I'm not going to compare them at this time as all the others are in production. So now we're going to have a look at a comparison of the main features for Stadia, GeForce Now and Shadow PC. Starting with the number of games that are available. For Stadia, this is currently 47. GeForce Now is currently 622. And Shadow PC is whatever PC games you decide to install. I'm not going to hazard a guess the amount of PC games available in the world, but most of them, apart from the likes of Valorant and a few other select titles, are compatible with Shadow. As far as the age of the platform is concerned, Stadia is still quite new in this field, 1 to 2 years old, if you include Project Stream, which was the beta beforehand. Including the betas GeForce Now, we're looking at 3 to 4 years old, and Shadow PC is a veteran here with over 5 years and counting. For countries, this is quite a different story. Stadia is currently only supported in 14 countries, with GeForce Now a massive 60 countries, and Shadow PC really lacking here with only 7 countries supported. As far as free tiers are concerned, Stadia does have a free tier available now, and that will continue with 1 month free pro. GeForce Now does also have a free tier, but it is limited to a 1-hour play session, and you also have to queue to get a rig for popular games. Shadow PC does not have a free tier, it is subscription only. So for the non-free tiers, we look at the cost per month for Stadia is just under $10 a month in the US and £9 in the UK. Now this does come with a few free games a month on Pro and some extra sales as well. For GeForce Now, we are looking at just under $5 or £5 UK a month for the Founders versions. If you were lucky enough to get into the Founders version, that is. It's been sold out for quite some time now. We still don't know what the actual price is going to be once this year is up, but for Founders they've had 3 months free, and I think that's been extended by at least one more month, and it might get extended by another one. So 5 months free is not bad. But we don't know if there's going to be a Pro tier or Premier or a paid for addition to the Founders version. At the moment, free is your only option. Shadow PC is anywhere between £13 or $13 a month for the Shadow Boost on a yearly subscription, all the way up to $50 a month on a kind of monthly ultimate plan. However, Shadow Boost is about the only tier available right now, and you'll be looking to wait anywhere between 2 weeks and 2 months to get into one of those. The Ultimate and Infinite packages still don't have an official release date. They're saying summer for those that have already been pre-ordered, and hopefully by the end of the year for anybody who's looking to order soon. Now, what platforms are these available on? Well, Stadia is officially supported on Android of Samsung, Pixel and OnePlus 8 varieties, but essentially anything that can run Chrome is supported. So a lot of people have been running Chrome on Androids that are not supported and being able to run successfully. And of course it's also available on Chromecast Ultra, Chromebooks and PC and Mac, as they have Chrome installed as well. For GeForce Now, officially is supported on PC, Mac and Android of the ARM variety, and that does extend to Chromebooks with ARM included. The Intel variety, it doesn't seem to appear in the store. And of course Shield TV. For Shadow, this is PC, Mac, iOS, including iPhone, Android and Apple TV, as well as Android. I'm not sure if there is a Shield TV client. Actually, sorry, there is a Shield TV client for Shadow also. Now, do you have to buy games to these platforms? Yes, you have to buy the games for Stadia on Stadia. For GeForce Now, you still have to buy your games, but it has to be GeForce Now compatible, and you have to buy it from the relevant platform, so Steam games, Steam. Shadow, yes, but you can buy any PC compatible game, and that will work on Shadow. As mentioned before, with the exception of Valorant, and I believe there's a couple of other games that are not compatible with Shadow due to either the anti-cheat mechanisms or the verification for running them. So, can you buy games on these platforms? Yes, for Stadia you can buy the Stadia versions of the games. Obviously you've got the Pro versions as well, which are given away every month. GeForce Now, you can't buy any games on the platform, even if you try to buy a game through the Steam client that's on GeForce Now. It will just kick you off the server, or it will just get you in an infinite authentication loop. And technically, no for Shadow, because it doesn't have its own platform for purchasing games, but obviously if you have Steam installed on Shadow, then you can purchase on there. I have had some issues with, again, authentication, trying to sign into things like PayPal and make purchases on Shadow, and I've done it outside on a separate Chrome in the past, so there may be some other issues underlying with purchasing through Shadow for systems that use two-factor authentication or hijack kind of protection, because Shadow is generally hosted in data centers that aren't local to you, so it looks like suspicious activity. Will you lose access to games if they get removed from the platforms? With Stadia, if it was a pro game and you downgrade, or they remove a pro game that you haven't claimed, then yes, you will lose access to it. However, if you've bought a game, even if you go down to the free tier or only have the free tier, even if the game is removed from sale on Stadia, it is in their terms of service that you will still continue to be able to play that game. So, said another way, if you buy a game on Stadia, regardless of whether it's ever for sale on there, you will always be able to play it. With GeForce Now, unfortunately, yes, you will lose access to games, and this has happened quite a lot. in their Thursday cleanup, it is quite possible that they may remove games from a certain publisher, and then those games have gone from GeForce Now forever, or until they come back. But we've yet to see any games that have been removed return to the platform. Hopefully this will change in future. Shadow PC? No, it's basically a virtual PC, so anything you buy and install is yours. Unless you lose access to your Shadow PC, then those games will remain yours. So moving on to quality supported. So this is the maximum quality capable on these platforms. Stadia has 4K, 60 FPS and HDR for compatible games, providing you have the compatible hardware. HDR certainly looks better and performance seems to be better on Chromecast Ultra than Chrome, but recently 1440p support has also been added to Chrome. For GeForce Now, it is capped at 1080p and 60 frames per second. However, for compatible games such as Control, ray tracing is available, and it does make games look absolutely fantastic, to be honest. With Shadow PC, again, providing you have the supported hardware, then you can get a maximum of 4K resolution at 60 frames per second. Now onto controller support. Stadia obviously has the Stadia controller compatible. PS4 and Xbox also works. There have also been reports of Joy-Cons being used and working okay, but it's not officially supported. Obviously all games support Stadia controllers or controller usage, because Stadia is effectively a cloud console. So it is doing very well at supporting controllers as well as keyboard and mouse. For GeForce Now, it is very game dependent. I haven't managed to get the Stadia controller or some third-party controllers to work for me with Division 2. So I've heard mixed results on this. Most of the games say partial or no controller support, so it is very hit or miss. And then getting GeForce Now to actually recognize your controller can be a different story. With Shadow, because it's a PC, it does pretty much support all controllers. I've managed to get the Stadia controller to work, and also mimic an Xbox and PS4 controllers quite happily. Shadow also does come with its own virtual controller, which is fantastic for using in the mobile clients, just to have a little play about, or to fill the gaps from Bluetooth controllers that don't have certain keys. Moving on to user experience then, Stadia has opted to go the kind of progressive web app route, as it is all hosted in the browser. So you launch into your home screen, but then you can switch to the store, and you can see all of the different releases here. It's kind of split up into different categories that you have to scroll through, and you've got these nice big tiles, so it's easy to identify. And if you click into one of these, you get some preview screenshots, and then you get all the information about what's included in the game, what features that it has and everything. And then you can obviously go back to the home screen and look at the games that you've already purchased ready to play. Some of the stuff to look at in the store here is you've got these different categories of pro games if you're a pro subscriber, and then in all games you can go and look at these different filters. So by default it just sorts A to Z title, but we can sort by newest to oldest, so we can look at the games that have just dropped. So once that refreshes, you can see that the new content there of Aftermath for Mortal Kombat, Sundered and Yotan, the two new games that just dropped. So that is Stadia's UX. Overall it's quite good to use, but can be a little bit fiddly with the filters. So moving to GeForce Now, they've got the app route, and this is kind of still the console style where you've got to scroll through these sideways. But when you actually go into a game, it's, you get this little tiny text box and a wall of text to see the stuff there, but you do get to see what inputs are supported. And you do have a search here, which is pretty good. It's the fuzzy logic search. So you just need to pay attention that when you're searching that it's the right platform because it covers Steam, Epic, and a few others at the moment. You need to make sure that when you're searching for those games that you pick the right version, so you don't try and use the Steam version if you've got the Epic version, etc. So again, it's split up into those categories, but it's much easier to just search for the games because of the sideways scrolling. Onto the Shadow UX. This has the same kind of stats window whether you're in or out of Shadow, but obviously when you're in Shadow you get the usage statistics. But you can also control whether you have USB peripherals and whether they're forwarded to your box, the bandwidth used for streaming, and to lock and unlock the cursor. So if you lock the cursor, then it means that if you have multiple windows or you're not full screen, that it will stay within the bounds of the shadow box. But if you turn off the unlock, then you can switch on and off of the box as if it's just another window. Onto the game start experience then. For Stadia first, it's very simple. From your home screen you just scroll through and find the game of your choice, and then you select the game and it will come into kind of a secondary confirmation, and then once you hit that plus play button to say you want to play it, it will launch into full screen and start the game. Stadia does have speed over pretty much all of the platforms, as you can see there from click to the game actually loading. This is real time at the moment, is around 20 seconds and we're into the loading screen of the main game. When we move over to GeForce Now, it's touch and go whether you get a speed check as when the game starts, but it's such a lottery how the game starts, whether you have a speed check, whether it's remembered your login details, whether you need to use the authentication tools to log in again. Uplay seems to be bad for this. Pretty much every time I start, it kind of gets that I've already logged in or said to remember my login credentials. Other times it will only ask me for the authentication code. So you can see here that it's asked me to log in again, and this is one of my main annoyances with GeForce Now, that you constantly have to kind of battle these startups. Steam seems to be a lot better at remembering, so the startup sequence for Steam is much cleaner. But even once you've got through this, it is a lot slower startup. But that's because Stadia is that cloud console, as I mentioned before, so it has everything integrated in one. Finally, onto Shadow. We have to start the launcher first. So once the launcher started, we have to wait for the connection to the Shadow box. And again, there's a bit of a lottery with the updates here. Sometimes it will start up very quickly. Other times you will kind of get impatient and click the Start Now button, which will put you onto another kind of waiting screen to say that it's nearly ready. And it will sit here until it kind of gets the full connection for your box to start up. But then it is a lottery again whether there's an update ready and waiting for your Shadow. This seems to happen quite a lot if you switch between devices. So if you switch between a Mac and a PC or Android device to connect to Shadow, there always seems to be an intermediate update, and it seems to be random between whether this lasts like a minute to update, 30 seconds to update, up to 5 minutes to update, and I seem to hit the 5-minute updates on Mac fairly regularly, at least once a week. But this is also doing Windows Update reboots for you as well, so it is hiding some of the stuff that it's doing, but most of the time it does get in. For some reason on Shadow it does not remember my Steam login, but it does for Uplay. Same startup procedure here for Division 2. You can see once I'm into the box I can just launch it as it's an installed game through Uplay, and the only thing I have to do is my two-factor authentication. So even though I have previously marked this as a trusted device, it doesn't seem to remember it still because of the Shadow system, but it is still a little bit neater than GeForce Now. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what platform that you are going to be using in future. if any of them. Don't forget to subscribe to Cloud Gaming Stream for videos on comparisons across all cloud gaming moving forwards. See you next time.